Some environmentalists are saying that Australia may face an influx of the world's first climate change refugees. That's if a solution is not found to the current water crisis in Tuvalu. The islands in the Pacific Ocean say recent weather patterns known as La Niña has caused the drought. Rising sea levels have also contaminated water supplies. The neighbouring island of TOKELAU has also declared a state of emergency. Richard Marles is Australia's Parliamentary Secretary for Pacific Island Affairs, and he joins us on the line from Geelong, near Melbourne, in the state of Victoria. Thanks very much for talking to us. First of all, what is Australia doing to help these islanders?
Well, we were requested about 10 days ago to provide assistance to Tuvalu, and I spoke with the Prime Minister of Tuvalu earlier in the week and said that we would be there to stand by Tuvalu and to provide whatever assistance is needed. At the moment, that consists of making sure that there are desalination plants transported to Tuvalu that can meet the immediate water needs of the island. On Monday, we'll be using a Royal Australian Air Force C-17 to help transport quite a large portable desalination unit via Smoa to Tuvalu, and that ought to deal with the immediate short-term needs that are being faced by the island. In a longer-term sense, we've been quite active in trying to put water tanks on the main island of Funafuti, which is the capital, so that there can be some capacity for water supply. But of course, that only is of use if it's raining, and Tuvalu right now is experiencing one of the worst droughts in its history. Indeed.
Why has it actually got to this stage? This drought's been going on for 6 months. It's caused by a very predictable weather pattern, and now residents are rationed to only 2 buckets a day. Why has it got to this late stage?
Well, I think to understand this, you need to know that the kind of territory that we're talking about. These are coral atoll nations, which are very small slivers of land, obviously in remote parts of the world. So there's no rivers in Tuvalu, there are no capacity for dams, and it means that the water security of a place like Tuvalu is tenuous in good times, and so it doesn't take much to put it into a situation where it faces dire circumstances, and that's what it's facing now. But we are confident that we will be able to get the desalination plants there in time. We've obviously shipped in emergency supplies of water as well, and we're also making sure that the desalination equipment that is on the island is working to full capacity, and so we've got experts helping on that as well.
OK, but the government has raised concerns about this for quite a while now. Of course, it's all connected to climate change, the border problem being that Tuvalu now relies solely on rainwater because rising sea levels have contaminated its groundwater supplies. So what, if anything, is being done to solve this in the long term?
Well, in general terms, the point you make is right. In actual fact, the island of Funafuti doesn't have a groundwater supply. It has always been its water security has always been based on collecting rainwater, and we've over the last couple of years put in water tanks to try and make that situation more robust. But the general point is right. These countries like Tuvalu and like Kiribati, which is also a coral atoll nation, are really on the front line of climate change. In a sense, they are they're the canaries in the global coal mine of climate change. And the very first issue, or the very first challenge that these countries face in terms of changing climate is to secure their water supply. And the point that you did make in relation to Kiribati is actually true, where storm surges have contaminated much of the water supply on the main island of Tarawa. So we really do need to see global funds being provided to these countries under the FAST.
Sorry to interrupt, just want to get one last question in, because 10 years ago Tuvalu asked Australia and New Zealand to take in residents if they need to be evacuated. What was Australia's response to that?
Well, obviously we've thought through all the possible outcomes, but I think all of that's a long way down the track, and right now the focus of the people of Tuvalu is to make sure that their island is habitable. I was actually in Tuvalu in the last couple of months, and in my discussions with the government there, it's very clear that they want to see the world act to try and make sure that their homes are habitable for many, many decades to come, and that's the focus of our activity. And that's actually why Australia's been keen to commit its fast start climate change adaptation program funding as quickly as possible, but we've got to see the rest of the world do that as well.
Indeed. OK, Richard Marles, thanks very much for joining us there from near Melbourne in Australia.